Critics' Choice, Say at Hyatt, and I'm Robin Steinberg here with Mr. Jimmy Engineer from Pakistan, one of Pakistan's very well-known artists. And Mr. Jimmy, thank you for joining us here at the National Critics' Choice Say with Hyatt online news. And you have released this new book right now here in Southeast Asia and throughout the world. Mr. Engineer, congratulations!
Thank you so much.
And could you tell the audience how to get this wonderful book, and tell us more about this book itself that you published?
Actually, this book comprises 40 years of my professional work as an artist, social worker. More of the art and less of social work in the book. One day, a gentleman, Mr. Parvez Iqbal, is a friend of mine, and he is in the event management company. He owns an event management company. He came to my studio one day and saw my painting. So he said, we should have a show of your artwork. But then after a week or so, he said that, I think I want to publish a book on you with all the artwork. So I interacted with him, with the publisher and the writer. The writer is Marjorie Hussain. She's a very famous writer in Pakistan. She's a British lady married to a Muslim. And the editor was Mr. S.M. Shayad. He's also a writer, and he writes books on music and art and culture. So they worked 2 years on this book. It took 2 years for them, and it's about 612 pages book. And I'm sure you have it in your hand, so you know it's quite heavy also in weight. It doesn't have all my artwork because I've done over 2,000 works and 1,000 calligraphies. I've done a lot of social work, so it can't be brought in one book. But they tried to bring as much as possible the images of my artwork in this book. So it's a long process and very hard work, and they put in a lot of effort, printing this book. So, and then they needed sponsors for this book because this book is very costly. So we got the Bank Al-Falah, a Dubai-based owner, and we got the ICI company, and we got a bank which is local, KASB bank. So they sponsored the book, and then a launch was done in January in Karachi at there's a golf club there, and it has one of the biggest halls. There they put up about 100 canvas prints of mine, and they launched the book. And in Singapore, we are launching the book on 26th of this month at the Pakistani ambassador's residence, Mr. Syed Hassan Javed. So I think having a book in your lifetime, it itself sometimes, it's an achievement. Sometimes books are written about artists when they are dead, after they are gone. And I feel quite lucky in that sense that such a kind of book has come out in my lifetime. And now from Singapore, I'll be traveling to other countries. I've already shown the book in Sri Lanka, and the newspapers wrote some very good reviews of the book. And now I'm in Singapore.
Speaking about lifetime work, many would like to ask you right now, how does your life, begin as an artist? And not only that, surprisingly, people didn't know that you're handicapped on one ear.
No, I'm hard of hearing.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
deaf actually, but I'm hard of hearing with both the ears because I had multiple operations done on my ear.
Nice. But how do you become an artist? What inspired you to be an artist?
I used to work on large pieces of paper and using powder color and water, putting water over the powder when I was 4 or 5 years old. And then with my fingers I used to create designs, and from there my imagination grew. But I used to always draw throughout my growing period. But I became serious when I was 16, 17 years old. And I confirmed to myself that I shall become a painter at the age of 18. And basically, my thinking is different from most artists because I hardly exhibited at commercial galleries. Even if I traveled to different countries, I used to exhibit my work at different public places or my embassy or my consulate, because most of the time I was trying to promote my country, the ideals of my people, because all over the world there is a very negative impact of our country in international media. So I was trying to work for the positive image of Pakistan all the time. And it's sad actually because our cultural heritage is ancient. Our culture, art, poetry, literature is very rich. But international people have no idea about our art and culture and the rich heritage we have in Pakistan, because the war or terrorism, overshadows everything. So mostly I had a purpose in life. That is why I call myself servant of Pakistan. This is my designation, being a servant who wants to serve his country. Because it's not only art that I do. I do walks for causes, work with special children, orphans, prisoners, widows, sick patients in hospitals. Most of the time I am helping people through my art and otherwise. Because in my own life, when I was 6 years old, I was given a second chance by nature, because all the doctors told my parents that your son will not live beyond 3 months because both my kidneys had failed. They were non-functional. And nobody in this world has ever lived with 2 failed kidneys. You can live on 1 kidney. So they gave 3 months to my parents, but after 3 months my health improved. All the doctors were very fascinated that how come he did not die, he survived. So they asked my parents that you bring your son, we want to check him. So they checked whether my body had some cut or transplant, and I think in 1960 there was no transplant of kidney anywhere in the world, leave alone Pakistan. So they checked my body and everything. They said there's no cut, there's nothing. How come he survived? So when they checked my kidneys, they said that somehow nature has provided him with 2 brand new kidneys in my body. So that miracle happened when I was 6 years old. So that is why till today I am trying to repay him for giving me the second chance to live and making my life useful. That is why as an artist, I'm a social worker, I'm a human rights activist, and I'm a peace activist. I live 4 different kind of lives, and 4 different lives are emotionally different. As an artist, I'm a very idealistic person. As a social worker, I stay detached and attached to people I help. And as a human rights activist, you have to be slightly aggressive. And as a peace activist, you have to be very peaceful. So trying to live 4 different kind of lives, as one person, it's not easy. But I managed. I'm now nearly 58 years old. And I was born in the most remote area of Pakistan. In the province of Balochistan, there's a place called Loralai. I was born there on 13th August 1954. And then most of the time, as I grew up, I used to paint the partition of India when Pakistan was created in 1947. I was not born in 1947, but I had dreams of partition in 1974. And then I used to relate the dreams on canvases because I wanted to educate the younger generation that how much sacrifice, how much bloodshed went into creating our country. So many people sacrificed their lives, and those people who sacrificed their lives never saw the country. So I wanted to honor all these people, the men, women and children who gave their lives so that we would have a country. And then I paint philosophy and landscape and still life and seascape and abstract and mood series and all sorts of things, And people ask me, why do you paint so many things? Why not one subject? Why not one style? So I tell all those people that I am a pupil, I am a student of nature. That is why my book is called In Search of My Master, because nature has always been my master. And nature is perfect and we are imperfect. So all my life I will always remain a pupil because I'll keep learning. That is why I take the liberty of painting everything I want and not restricted to one style or one subject because one name of Allah in Arabic is known as Al-Musawwar. It means the greatest of fashioner, designer and artist. So I am his pupil. I am still learning and I want to learn more. All my life I wanted to achieve level of excellence. But still I am imperfect. So this is my brief philosophy about the art that I've been doing, and my passion is to help those who need help, like special children. Special children, we call them special, but we don't give them any special love or special feelings or special facilities or anything. We just use the term special for them. I tell people, why do you call them special when you can't give them anything special? So I started working in 2001 for special children. First, the parents used to be very embarrassed. They used to hide the children in the house. So I started a program where I should take hundreds of children to public places, to restaurants, to hotels, so that people are used to seeing them. And I wanted people to respect them, to make them part of our society. Because you cannot change anybody's life unless you don't make them part of the society, part of your thinking, part of your psyche. So I arranged about 140 programs the last 10 to 11 years. And now parents are not embarrassed. They call me and they say, take my child to the function. I have to book cinema halls, I have to book hotels, book restaurants, public places, and take all these children. Then I have to work in the jail with prisoners, arrange sports activities for them. Because they were not criminals when they were born. Sometimes society makes them criminals. Many criminals don't come from their mother's womb. Sometimes their state of affair makes them do things that is evil, that is bad. For that they are paying. So I work with them. Then in Karachi, in the central jail, there's a fine art department also. So I sometimes go there and help them. I arrange the exhibition outside the jail for people to see the work done by prisoners. Then I've arranged shows for special children. I've arranged cricket matches for blind children. So my passion is to change the lives, to make a difference. Verbally, philosophically, you can't change even the life of one person. You can talk in seminars, you can talk in meetings for 100 years. You will never change the life of even one person. You can only change the life of one person when you go to him and change it. That is why I believe that we should not let the sufferer come to us. We should go to the sufferer and alleviate his suffering by going to him. So it's very important for me to change lives of people, to make a difference. Walk culture, I created the walk culture in Pakistan. I made walk look important for causes. Walk for hundreds of causes, for leprosy, for cancer, for special children, for blind children, for handicapped children, for sick children, law and order, education, health problems. I have done hundreds of walks. But the longest walk I did in my country, where I walked for 1 year, every day I used to walk 30 to 40 kilometers. And I walked nearly 4,700 kilometers because I didn't go straight from one end to the country to the other end. I walked through all the villages, all the towns, all the big cities, and then I reached to the end of Pakistan. 1 year I kept on walking because I wanted to see the suffering of people, how people suffer. And I wanted to do exactly what they do, walk, sleep wherever they find place, and eat whatever they get. So 1 year I wanted to reform myself. I wanted to feel what that person is feeling who has nothing with him. And to understand that, I went through all this. And then the other important walk I did was a peace walk between India and Pakistan in 2001 when things were very bad. And I carried the flag of India side by side Pakistan and walked through my country. Nobody has ever done something like this, carrying Indian flag in Pakistan and walking. But I did that in 2001. And people asked me, why did you do that? I said, because if you believe in something, then you do it properly. And if you ask any Indian that will he ever carry a Pakistani flag and walk in India, he will say no. He would never walk with a Pakistani flag. He would never have the courage to walk in India with a Pakistani flag. So the issue is that if you want to do something, you have to do it from the heart. It should not just be a kind of a promotional activity or something like that. And then I've always said that in any country, if people want me to walk for any cause, I'm ready to walk for any cause.
And speaking about cause, you mentioned about peace between India and Pakistan. Many viewers are asking, do you think there will be peace between India and Pakistan in the future?
I will be very frank and honest, because 2001 we were nearly at war when I was walking. And when I was walking on the roads, people used to come and ask me that war will take place. And I would say no. But I was not in the army, or I was not representing the army or the government or anything. But I just felt that war will not take place in 2001. I'm saying that there is no issue between the people of India and the people of Pakistan. Actually, when I was at the borders, when I culminated my walk at the border, international media asked me that will peace ever come? I said that contact of people will keep continuing, but real peace will only come when the 1% people in India and the 1% people in our country want peace. Otherwise, the 99% people have no issue. They have no problem with each other.
But do you think that the army of Pakistan want peace with India?
No, it's not a Pakistani army. People keep saying Pakistani army. Why not Indian army? What does the Indian army do? It's killing people in Kashmir all the time. It's the worst kind of human right atrocities happening in India, in Kashmir. Why don't people talk about that? Why people say Pakistani army? What Pakistani army? I think our army is one of the finest armies. They are fighting a war on terror which has been pushed on them. It was not our war on terror. It was somebody else's war on terror that our army is involved now. And now we are the biggest sufferers of terrorism. Every day people are being killed and there's blast in our country. Pakistan is the biggest sufferer of terrorism. Let me tell you this much. So it's why talk about only Pakistani army? Why don't you ask the Indian army? Okay, do they want peace with Pakistan? So we should, I think, talk factually, and we should talk in a balanced manner. It's not about armies. I'll tell you one thing. There are politicians also. There are extremist politicians in India who don't recognize Pakistan, who have never recognized Pakistan from the partition of India. So why don't you go and ask them why they don't want to have peace with Pakistan? Pakistan has always welcomed the Indians who come there. So it's not a problem about Pakistan. People keep pointing fingers towards Pakistan. It's not Pakistan itself. Pakistan cannot decide on its own whether they want to have peace or they don't want to have peace. It is India also.
And speaking about having a balanced lifetime of advice, could you give us 3 points to encourage aspiring artists and individuals who would like to follow in your footsteps?